Hi, Ilanit. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with me. It's a real honor and a privilege. You have worked in IP in Israel for many years. How is the current COVID-19 situation affecting IP in general, and which are the major changes you've seen in the last few months?
I think that overall, there is more innovation in times of crisis. So I see I remember from 2008 as well, the crisis is a catalyst to innovation. So when there's innovation, we see more intellectual property created. So I think I've been feeling that, but I also think it's too soon to tell. We also feel that at that time this time there's increased awareness to trade secrets as a major form of IP. Not only the US and China and the European directive having, new laws, but we see more litigation happening in the US relating to trade secrets. And I think that COVID-19 is going to have this effect of increased awareness to trade secrets. Another thing that we feel is that the workplace is evolving. So working becomes more mobile. People switch jobs more frequently. People are laid off. I think that companies realize that employees need to be educated and trained. So I think that we see a certain shift in the way our clients are looking at things. And I think COVID-19 has helped sharpen this realization.
So, as a partner at Appelfeld and Co., you specialize and you work in the startup nation closely with SaaS startups and tech companies. How is the current situation affecting these IP stakeholders in particular?
Okay, I think that the more mature companies with patent portfolios, they are trying to manage and see, wherever they can postpone responding to like office actions and official communications, we try to help them do that. We're trying to rethink what IP is essential to the company's portfolio and business model. We see with the younger companies that still want to go and get their financing. The innovation is still there. Obviously, they need to protect their innovation. So we see that the younger companies are still focused on reaching this goal of getting to their defining their IP, filing the patents. But I think that with mature companies, they're reacting a bit differently, and yeah, I think that budgets are being tightened in a way.
Ilanit, you are seeing a lot of introspection on many of the companies, and you work across a range of industries. Which one do you see are being financially impacted the most by the current situation?
Right. So I would have to say, well, um, that's a good question. I mean, industries that are most positively affected obviously are the ones who deal with online education and deal with technologies that are more resilient to pandemics. So obviously data-driven AI, machine learning, deep learning, that world is just, I think, becoming stronger and stronger. And companies with products in other industries that are more reliant on, I wouldn't say low tech, but on the market functioning the old way, um, I think are feeling the impact more. And I think wherever there's IP in these kinds of worlds, then there's a rethinking of the factors of expenditure and how to tighten the budgets, etc. So the companies being impacted are the ones that are on the top and in the bottom, mainly positively impacted and not so positive.
So you deal a lot with international collaboration. Have you seen any changes based on the current crisis?
Well, we had a lot of clients. I mean, at least three or four in the last 3 months that were negotiating in the middle of their financing round, and COVID-19 just stopped it. Investors were wanting to wait and see how things developed. Meetings stopped because people couldn't fly. So we definitely saw some kind of things not happening because of COVID-19. But I think we're feeling that it's starting to pick up. So we're definitely seeing things starting to pick up. I think it's too early to talk about the real impacts. But yeah, we're just in the midst of everything, so it's really difficult to predict.
So working with many major corporations, mature corporations that are filing multinationally, have you seen any cutbacks during national phase of when they were expecting to file in certain countries and now they won't because of this situation?
Not really. I haven't seen companies stop national filings. I come to think of it, I haven't really seen even filing in less countries than from what they initially wanted to file in. But maybe it's early. I don't know. Maybe it's early days still.
Ilanit, if you had 30 seconds or less, how would you explain to the patent industry, the patent profession, what would you expect them to see moving forward after this global reality?
So I think we're going to see less patents. I think we're going to be seeing other forms of IP created. I think that the new revolution in IP is going to be trade secrets. I think that companies are going to realize that their strongest assets is what they have internally, and the risk is not going to be reduced by filing patents. The risk to the IP is going to be reduced if they teach their team members how to help them protect their intellectual property. The biggest risk, by the way, to IP comes from within. It comes from employees, and it's usually employees that don't know how to behave in IP. It's not malicious. It's just people preparing for an interview and just taking out big amounts of data out on an external drive, or preparing for an interview and taking critical information outside of the company. So I think that we're going to see more a trend towards empowering team member towards understanding what their know-how is and what the company's IP is. So I think that the industry is going to have less patents in a sense and more, trade secret management.